I just finished watching the newest episode of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And on that note, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another recap. And I have to say, I really enjoyed watching this episode. I was hooked from beginning to end. I think we're moving at a faster pace right now in terms of storyline, in terms of scenes. I kind of sometimes feel myself drifting off of the episodes, regardless of the franchise that I'm watching, when it's just boring and stale. So I appreciate the eventfulness, I guess you could say, of this episode. I think production did a really nice job of cutting up those scenes. I just wanted to point that out in the beginning. To make a very long story short, because I myself am a Dorit 2.0 and can never get to the effing point, the girls all go to Spain. Anna Marie comes for Crystal. Kyle pretty much hides behind the confessionals to also kind of come for Crystal. Garcelle, Erica, and Sutton find the private chef really hot. The girls are actually getting along very nicely until Anna Marie kind of brings up the elephant in the room at the dinner table in their first night, where I kind of felt like there really was no... Oh, I'm sorry. Those were my AirPods falling to the floor. There really was no elephant to bring up at the dinner table because the vibes were going. The vibes were good. It was chill, relaxed, and just everybody was enjoying their food. But that's besides the point. And Crystal definitely defended herself, but, and this is where I just want to cry for my girl Crystal, she just doesn't know how to properly defend herself, because I would have read anyone that would want to start mess like that and to blatantly say, I want to thank you for making your ass relevant to give you something to talk about. I mean, I will give Anna Marie that. You ate that. You ate that one little bit of a read, girl. I think that read was amazing. I listen, I'll get to Anna Marie in a second. I think Anna Marie is on a mission to fulfill the messiness of Kyle. I don't think Anna Marie is that obnoxious as we, the viewers, might see her as, because she has been very clearly coached by Kyle behind the scenes, and I really would throw myself into fire for the statement that I'm making. It just seems as if Anna Marie is a partial spokesperson for Kyle at this point. She is very much doing all the dirty work for her. Kyle has been very quiet in those scenes. Kyle has been very slick in her confessionals and that just, to me, fortifies the point that there are things going on off camera that maybe she's being, told to, or at least advised to possibly do. And also, Kyle, that last statement of yours, and I'm trying to find my PG words, I'm trying to find words so I just don't get demonetized on this and this video stays up. How in the hell are you going to say, after Crystal gets car sick, her veins are literally popping out of her hands, girl, how can you sit there and say, well, karma, has a funny way to whatever the F you were saying. Now Crystal's feeling sick and looking for mercy of Anna Marie. Is Anna Marie the only nurse anesthetist in the whole of the Spanish country? Is Anna Marie the only doctor available on this trip? Girl, what are you saying? And also, that statement that Kyle made, well, usually Crystal is very reserved with her thoughts and very kept to herself. So I'm kind of shook that she's now speaking up and being like this. I just wish that Anna Marie and Crystal would have a private conversation so I don't have to see and hear any of this. Kyle, let's be so freaking for real. I have so much compassion for her, especially now that her friend has passed 2 years ago now, almost. My heart bleeds for her, and I shed tears whilst watching the episode dedicated to Lorene. But Kyle fucking Richards, please. You the thing with Kyle is she can be so likable and then she can be so unlikable. Girl, how can you... Crystal can never win then at that point. Crystal can never win when she gets defensive and actually speaks out. It's a problem. But when she keeps to herself and is reserved, she doesn't bring enough to the table. Which one is it? Please. You gotta choose one option. I think it's great that Crystal's speaking up. I actually think that Crystal should speak up a little more in a little more of maybe a dominant and aggressive manner. So you guys really hop off of her. You know what? Never mind. So the girls have planned a trip for next week's episode. It looks very eventful. I think Crystal ends up in the ER. Sutton and Kyle have a very sweet moment. They're crying. They're apologizing to each other. That's pretty much it. I don't really have much more to say of this episode except that I love watching Garcelle and Sutton's, friendship on camera. I think it is so organic. I think it is so fun. I like watching Sutton's quirkiness with the ashes of her, I forgot his name, but that I thought was very cute to bring him out to Spain and really lay him there where probably he would want to be laid down. Before I end this very quick recap, I want to talk about Dorit. What businesses listen, I love Dorit. I loved Dorit. I like Dorit now. She kind of is skating by a little bit in this season, but Dorit, what type of business or businesses do you run currently? Can you list them? Is there a possibility to find out what businesses you are referring to? Because you say that whilst Crystal was preoccupied by being a child bride, as I've said in my earlier recaps, I don't think Dorit is a racist at all. I honestly think Dorit is just sometimes very ignorant. Very ignorant, honey. Like, who says that? Who says that? Dorit and PK have several years of difference. Crystal was not a child bride. She was 24. Do they have a 21-year age difference? Yes. Is she the only one on this world to have this difference? No. So, to bring that up is just so... It's dry. It's just so dry to me. And also, I wanted to talk about something else too, but I'm forgetting as we speak. I'm forgetting as we speak. Girl, I should have taken some notes. Dorit, I wanted to say something regarding Dorit. Yes. And also, but with everybody, including Dorit, saying, well, I kind of think there is some truth to what Crystal's saying, that she did say that we're shallow, uneducated, and that she's a real socialite. To doubt her after, you know, being cast members and, like, friends or vague friends after 3 years really shows you that these women are not as close as people may think. Oh, and also, Anna Marie, I don't think Crystal's jealous of you or envious of you at all. Especially not in, like, the education department. I mean, everybody defines education for themselves. It is very subjective. Just because you've spent, you know, 5 years in college or 10 years in college, that does not take away from another person's intelligence at all. And let's be so for real. Crystal's money, baby. Crystal has Disney money. Crystal has the second largest coconut water company in the world that she is a co-founder of including with her brother and her best friend. Do you really think with those heavy, I'm sure that her back pain is excruciating by carrying those heavy checks to the bank every single month. Do you honestly think that she's envious of you? Girl. Actually, girls, I'm not just gonna drag Anna Marie for it. I'll drag Dorit and Erica too when they were kind of doubting Crystal about that. So, what I want to see for season 14 of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills is a Brandi Glanville comeback. And if Anne Marie will be cast for a second season because people think that maybe she deserves a second chance, I really hope that she just starts to kind of, you know, act on her own and not really do Kyle's dirty work, because it's evident that she does. And she would actually be very likable, because I think, especially watching her with Garcelle this episode, I saw a glimpse of what definitely could be. And it's not that bad at all. So, Anna Marie, if you're listening to this, shout out to you. Don't do Kyle's work. If Kyle wants to be messy and shady, let that do by herself. But anyways, you guys, I'm already in my sheets. As you probably can hear, I am so damn tired. I am going to sleep as we speak right now. Thanks so much for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll definitely see you guys in my next video. Bye-bye.